One day, I sat down to study for my biology exam. I had my books open, my notes ready, and I thought to myself, all right, it's time. Time to focus. This was at the start of my college career, freshman year. 2 hours later, I had watched 60 Instagram reels, like 30 Instagram posts, and watched 3 videos of a turtle eating a strawberry in slow motion. The test? Let's just say my professor was not really impressed. Things didn't go as planned. Sounds funny, right? I hear some of you guys laughing. But the truth is, this happens to all of us. The average person loses 730 hours a year to distractions. Do the math real quick. That's an entire month. Imagine what you could do with an extra month every year. You could start a business, learn a new skill, or finally learn how to cook something that isn't instant noodles. But instead, we're stuck in a loop, mindlessly scrolling, refreshing, tapping, and liking. And the worst part is, we're not even enjoying it. We tell ourselves, just an extra 5 minutes of Instagram won't hurt. And all of a sudden, it's dark outside, your to-do list is untouched, and you're 3 hours deep into watching videos of guys fishing with toothpaste. Now let's test something. And I want you to be completely honest with me. This is a safe space. Raise your hand if your screen time is above 4 hours. That's a lot of hands. Now who's at 6? 6 hours. Don't be shy. Okay, how about 8? Wow. How about 10? Okay, we got some. Well, congratulations. You don't have a phone addiction. That's good. But your phone has a you addiction. If no one raised their hand, those who didn't, either you're very good liars, or I'm sitting in a room with some monks. But either way, respect. So why does this happen? Why can't we focus anymore? The truth is, our brains are not designed for the modern world. Your phone isn't just a device. It's like a mini casino. Every single notification is like a slot machine. You check, you scroll, and then you win a tiny dopamine hit. This is because every single social media platform is designed in this way. The algorithms are engineered to hijack your reward system, feeding you just enough information for you to keep coming back again and again and again. They have taken advantage of one of the most powerful chemicals in our brains, dopamine. The same neurotransmitter involved in addiction, and have used it as a weapon against our focus. This loss of focus also happens because of attempts at multitasking. Not the best of ideas. We like to think that we're good at multitasking. But the truth is, you're not, I'm not, we're not. Nobody is. Think of it like this. Your brain is like a computer. Every tab that you keep open, and you open more tabs, your brain starts slowing down even more, just like a computer. Because the truth is, if you're trying to text a friend on Instagram while studying for a physics exam and also watching a YouTube video, bad news for you, my friend, your brain is running on Windows XP. I mean, let's be real. How many of you guys have tried to write an essay while watching Netflix? I mean, you end up with a paragraph about the economy and a footnote that says, Walter White did nothing wrong. This is because every time we switch between tasks, our brain burns through much more energy. And the result, we feel exhausted, we feel tired, and we tell ourselves, we're just bad at focusing. When that's not true. Our brains were never designed to work this way. Now I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. Okay, I get it. My brain is working against me. But what do I do about it? Well, here's what I did about it. I stopped fighting my brain and working against it, and I started working with it. Here's how. The first strategy that I used is called task batching. But let's just call it the Netflix binge method of productivity. Here's the science. Your brain thrives on deep work, but it needs some time to settle into focus. This is because of something we call attention residue. This is a term in cognitive psychology that explains why whenever you switch between tasks, part of your brain is still stuck on the last task that you were performing. It's like hopping straight out of work and trying to have an intimate dinner date while still mentally replying to an email from your boss. It doesn't exactly work this way. Instead, batch your tasks just how you binge Netflix. We've all binged Netflix before. So do the same for your tasks. I mean, you don't watch 5 minutes of Prison Break, and then 5 minutes of Breaking Bad, and then hop straight into Squid Games. No, you sit down, you commit, you give each show the time that it needs to be finished, and suddenly it's 3 a.m. and Netflix is asking, are you still watching? Now, you should work in the same way. I mean, batch your tasks just how you binge Netflix. You give each task the time that it requires to be finished. No distractions, no switching, no, just a quick little check of Instagram because we all know that does not exist. Just one thing at a time. Research by Dr. Cal Newport, the guy who wrote the book Deep Work, shows that this method is 4 times more effective. 4 times! I mean, let's put this into scale. This means that whatever takes you 4 hours with distractions can only take you 1 hour with deliberate, focused effort. Now I know 1 hour might sound like a lot, so try something a bit easier, I'd say. Something we call Pomodoro sprints. I'm sure a lot of you guys, being students, have heard of the Pomodoro technique of study. 25 minutes of work, and then 5 minutes of rest, and then rinse and repeat. Think of it as if you're, working very hard for 25 minutes, and then you hop straight into a commercial break. Except instead of watching ads about toothpaste, you're priming your brain and training it to lock in, to stay sharp. Now, some people might have a problem with actually starting the tasks at hand, and I am guilty of that too. Procrastination, the best friend of every single student that I've ever known. Sometimes you think, I want to go to the gym at 7 p.m. And all of a sudden you look at the clock and it's 7:05. And then you're like, I'll just go at 7:30. And then when 7:30 hits, you're like, I'll just go at 8 p.m. And then 8 p.m. turns to tomorrow, turns to next week, turns to next month, turns to never touching a dumbbell ever in your life. But here's what I did about it. I use a strategy called the 1-2-3 technique. Whenever I thought about doing something productive, say reply to an email, or start an assignment, or go to the gym and hit chest, I would count down from 3. 3, 2, 1, go. And I get straight into action. Research shows that this activates the prefrontal cortex, which is the area in the brain responsible for decision making. And it overrides the hesitation that leads to procrastination. Because honestly, if you wait too long, your brain's going to start making excuses. And it's going to tell you to just start on Monday. And spoiler alert, Monday never comes. Another technique is called interrupting dopamine loops. I realized that whenever I opened Instagram, I was just mindlessly scrolling, something we call doom scrolling. I would just enter Instagram and I would start scrolling without knowing what I'm doing. I was running on autopilot. That's because I was stuck in an echo chamber of personalized content that kept me, engaged with Instagram. But what I did was install an app called Opal, O-P-A-L. What this app does is that it blocks distracting applications so that whenever you enter an app, like Instagram or TikTok for example, it gives you a message and prompts you to think before starting to use this application. Now every time I open my phone and instinctively open TikTok, I get a message that makes me stop for a little bit and think, do I actually need this? 99% of the time, the answer is no. When I first installed Opal, I had so much free time. I started reading books again. Like physical, actual books. That's crazy, right? But one interesting thing that I noticed was that I started thinking better. Some of my best ideas came when I was doing nothing. Have you ever wondered why some of your best ideas come when you're in the shower? And that's why we coined the term shower thoughts, right? Well, that's because when you stop forcing your brain to focus, or you're not doing anything such as consuming content, the default mode network in your brain starts kicking in. For those that don't know what that is, that's a system responsible for creativity and problem solving. And when you're constantly consuming content, this default mode network is inhibited because you're stopping your brain from connecting ideas in new ways. So I realized that by reducing distractions, I wasn't just getting more things done. I was actually thinking much better. The last strategy that I want to give you today is called the 90-minute rule. Your brain works best in focus cycles, natural focus cycles. It's not designed for 5-hour-long study marathons. It's designed for 90-minute intervals followed by short breaks. I mean, if this is how elite athletes train, why shouldn't we do the same? Instead of forcing myself to sit down and lock in and grind for hours and study for a whole day, I started studying for short intervals of time, followed by some breaks, and then getting back right into it. And suddenly, I started getting much more done in much less time. And here's where spaced out learning comes. Studies in cognitive psychology show that breaking long study sessions into shorter repeated intervals over time is actually much more effective. Because your brain, whenever you revisit information, it helps consolidate that memory and helps you retain it for a longer period of time. This is because of the spacing effect. Scientists have proven that studying for 6 hours and cramming for a test is nowhere near as effective as breaking that study into 3 2-hour-long study sessions spaced out over a week. Think of it like you're learning the lyrics to a song, right? You don't just sit down and listen to a song over and over and over again trying to learn its lyrics, right? I mean, who sits down and listens to Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar and just keeps trying to learn the lyrics every time? That's just crazy, right? I'm guilty of that. Instead, you listen to it 3 times or 4 times every day for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and all of a sudden, you're singing it in the shower like you're the one who wrote it. And this is how the brain functions best. So here's my challenge to you. Everybody in this hall or everybody watching at home. Track how much time you spend distracted versus focused. Whether it is using Opal, the app that I mentioned, or the traditional screen time function on your phone or on your laptop. And at the end of the week, go and challenge a friend. Whoever has the lowest screen time wins. And if you want real stakes, the loser treats the winner to dinner. But if you're just like me, the winner gets the loser's respect. And respect, for me, is priceless. Now, all these techniques that I've mentioned don't only apply to studying. They can apply to any endeavor that you want to take on in life. But if you're students, I want you to try this system. Believe me, I guarantee it's going to change your life. You're going to be managing your time like a pro, getting more straight A's, and also having enough time to enjoy life. If it worked for me, balancing academics, biology research, being a pre-med student, being a student athlete, and also leadership and public speaking, it could work for amazing students like yourself. And now, the choice is yours. Between another year lost in distractions or an extra month to build, to create, and to grow. Time is the one thing in life that we can never get back. So please, let's use it wisely. Thank you.